You're a lost sheep looking for a path. You may or may not openly look for a religion, but that's what all the lost people are doing essentially. And when you find veganism, that's exactly what you find. If you watch my videos, you understand that. If you do a diet, such as a ketogenic or a paleo diet, whatever, you don't introduce yourself as such, as in, hi, I'm keto, only as a joke. Vegans and vegetarians also, they do that. They identify themselves with the religion, the same way Christians, Buddhists, and Muslims would do it. Hi, I'm David, I'm Christian. That's pretty typical. Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm brainwashed. I don't understand anything about nutrition. Could I please join you? Of course. That's the #1 rule of veganism. Never look into nutrition, and if you do, only listen to other vegans who will tell you lies and pseudoscience, because that's what we base our religion on. They would never get followers if people would actually look into nutrition. It doesn't work, because once you do, you're automatically not vegan. Here's the crazy part. Let's say you fall for it and you're there now. You call yourself vegan. The diet is the least nutritious diet ever created by man. Literally. The only other diets that could fight for the first place as the least nutritious diet would be other sub-diets of veganism. Probably the fruitarian diet. Those people, I've never seen so unhealthy people. It's incredible. And they are in such denial that they believe that they are healthy, which nobody would ever agree if they would show themselves to anybody. When you really start thinking about it, the people actually follow it blindly. It's insane. Any diet that has any animal foods is automatically more nutritious. And of course they don't learn about it. There's so many nutrients, a whole list that I made, that you can only get from animals. And veganism is based on restricting, not like other diets.
The animal foods, the meat, the fish, the eggs, and the dairy products are the foods that Mother Nature gave us to feed ourselves. They are the feeding foods. They are the building foods. They build your bones and your muscles and your brain and your immune system and all the other organs in your body. They are the building, the feeding foods. They feed you and build you up. Plant foods, Mother Nature gave us as cleansers. They do not feed us. They do not nourish us. They do not build your bones. They do not build your brain. They do not build your muscles. They do not build or nourish or feed anything. Only yesterday I had a patient in my clinic, a beautiful girl who is very tall, about 185 centimeters tall, but she weighs only 51 kilograms. She's severely malnourished. Her menstruations have stopped a year ago. Very pale, very malnourished looking girl. And this is a person that is very conscious of what she eats. She loves cooking. She excluded all the junk and all the processed foods from her diet. She was always healthy until she changed her diet a year ago. And she listened to the government food pyramid, and she listened to what the TV says, and she listened to the glossy magazines, and to all other misinformation in the world. And she decided to be healthy. She decided to become a vegan. So for a year, she lived on fruit and vegetables and grains, whole grains, which she cooked at home, and whole beans and nuts, and all other plant foods, which she prepared from raw, from natural. And she ran into great trouble. She washed herself away. So I've explained to her that what you've been doing for a year, you have been cleansing yourself, because you've been eating only cleansing, detoxifying foods. You were not feeding yourself. So you cleansed yourself and cleansed and cleansed and cleansed until you became washed out. So now it's time for you to feed yourself, because plant foods do not feed us.
Raw egg yolks have been compared to human breast milk. They literally require very little digestion, they absorb very quickly, and they provide us with beautiful nutrition. lots of zinc, amino acids in their single form, so your proteins can immediately be built. Lots and lots of B vitamins and lots of other wonderful things. When we cook, obviously all that nutrition is still there, but it is more difficult to digest. Cooked egg yolks are harder to digest. Many people get it repeated on them, get it reflux from it, and some people get constipated and get gas from cooked eggs. From raw eggs, you will not get that. Raw egg white recently has been discovered to chelate toxic metals. That's amazing. So we can remove, by eating raw egg whites, we can remove mercury and lead and other toxic metals out of the body.
Veganism may officially revolve around food, but anybody who looks into it even a little bit, they understand right away that it's way more than that. For the list of those animal nutrients, watch my documentary, The NWO Diet. Although if you watch that, there's almost no way to stay vegan afterwards. It completely destroys the idea of it. Most would go into denial and only watch a few minutes of it. When you go to the supermarket, what will you find? Almost only plants, because that's what the government wants you to eat. That's not how any market ever looked like. The funniest thing is when vegans call other people sheep. You are the definition of sheep. You do exactly what the government wants you to. That's why the food pyramid is plant-based. They want you to ease into it. Of course they won't right away remove the most nutritious foods. What's the biggest problem when you want to do a paleo primal diet? It's availability and money. That's why people always say, do a vegan diet, it's cheap. Of course it's fucking cheap, you sheep. They want you to eat that way. Grass-fed, organic meat is expensive. Seafood, everything that everybody always ate. You sheep.
To satisfy the demand for meat, Chinguetti's camel slaughterer sacrifices 3 or 4 a week. Due to the Getna, the population doubles and they kill a camel a day. The animal falls to the ground without any commotion and the butchering begins, which lasts almost an hour. No part of the camel is wasted, whether dead or alive. The head, hoofs, tail, everything is eaten and used in many ways. The hump is not an enormous water deposit, as we all believed as children, but an energetic fat mass that is the camel's true engine. A good hump doubles the sale price. And at the market, it is the most solicited part of the camel. The hump and the liver are the most expensive.
Since the beginning, humans have ate animals with the occasional in-season plants. Nobody had ever heard of any of the disease that we are getting. Heart disease, what's that? Never heard. Literally, that's how it was. Now most people eat a plant-based diet and everybody's ill. Pretty hard to connect the dots, huh? For them it is. When you eat carbohydrates, your body goes into starvation mode, okay? Of course you will feel sick, of course you will age quickly if you secrete insulin every fucking day. Your body doesn't understand that you're brainwashed and that's why you're eating like that. It believes that you're starving. That's why you will always be in fat storage mode. Most people go through their whole life nowadays starving. They don't understand this. Maybe you have heard about people in Haiti who make mud cakes, which are cakes literally made out of mud, and they add sugar and salt to them. If only people would understand that that's exactly what people used to do in famine times. When there were only grains available, they tried to make food out of inedible stuff. That's where bread and all the shit you see in bakeries come from. It was never considered to be food. The same thing with rice and beans. People used to eat that in the times of famine, such as the so-called world wars. In China, nobody anywhere ever ate a plant-based diet. It's very new.
He was asked, so why did you adopt the low carbohydrate diet? And he said, well, it's simple. I looked at the people who were following the current dietary guidelines 3,000 years ago. And I said, how healthy were they? So it turns out that the Egyptians were the first people in the world to eat the diet that we're told to eat today. So they're a fabulous test case of the diet. We don't even have to do the diet. We just go and see, were the Egyptians healthy? Because look at this, they ate the diet that fulfills the South African dietary guidelines. The Egyptian diet consists primarily of bread, cereals, fresh fruits, vegetables, some fish and poultry, almost no red meat, olive oil instead of lard, and goat's milk for drinking, and made into a cheese. A veritable modern nutritionist nirvana. That's it. If I'm told what's a healthy diet, that's it. If such is the ultimate healthy diet, rich in all the foods believed to promote health and almost devoid of saturated fat and cholesterol and refined sugar, then according to Dr. Eads, the ancient Egyptians should have lived forever, at least should have lived long, healthy lives and died of old age in their beds. But did they? So here they are, and that shows that they were a bread or grain-based population. That is the preparation of bread and grains. And here is someone producing grains for bread. And they were so fond of bread that they were known as the autophagio, or eaters of bread. So bread was crucial to the Egyptians. And there they are, and on the bottom you can see other fruits and grains. So this was their diet. Primary carbohydrate, bread, fruits, vegetables, honey, oils, olive, flaxseed, safflower, sesame, fish, waterfowl, occasional red meat. No saturated fat, all the healthy foods that you'd hope for. And this is what they looked like. And you can see that they're obese, and they have what I'm going to introduce you to later as a thing called the insulin roll. This shows that these people are insulin resistant, eating high carbohydrate diets. And Dr. Eads, and I'll just call it, he calls these man boobs. I apologize for that, but that's what he described. And that's the characteristics of people with insulin resisting eating a high carbohydrate diet. And this is what their teeth looked like. And really, teeth tell you the health of the people and the health of the population. And these are not healthy teeth. And we'll show you how cereals and grains contribute to poor teeth quality. And so then the first definition of a heart attack is in the Ebers Papyrus of 1550 BC. In medicine, we teach that someone else in Britain probably was the first person to ever describe a heart attack, but it's actually here. If thou examinest a man for illness in his heart, cardia, chest, and he has pains in his arms and in his breast, and we know that chest pain radiates down, heart pain radiates down the left arm, and in his breast and in one side of his cardia, it is death threatening him. So there's the diagnosis. This guy's got heart disease, and it's presenting as angina pectoris or as myocardial infarction. And here, now this is a stretch of imagination, but here's a guy dying suddenly, and so this could be the first picture, you probably can't see it, of a guy dying suddenly, and it was so important that they even had it in relief. So the Egyptians 3,000 years ago had the same arterial disease that we have today, and which is the key feature of diabetes as we described. So Dr. Eads continues, so a picture begins to emerge of an Egyptian populace rife with disabling dental problems, fat bellies, and crippling heart disease. Sounds a lot like the afflictions of millions of people in America today, doesn't it? The Egyptians didn't eat much fat, had no refined carbohydrates, and ate almost nothing but whole grains, fresh fruits and vegetables, and fish and fowl, yet were beset with all the same diseases that afflict modern man. Modern man is exhorted to eat lots of whole grains, fresh fruit and vegetables to prevent or reverse these diseases. Eads concludes that this historical evidence might suggest that there are some real problems with the low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet.
If you look at all the traditional cultures around the world who developed their own indigenous diets for millennia, depending on where they live, there is no such thing as a vegetarian diet. It does not exist in nature, and it does not exist in a traditional tribal culture of humanity on this planet. People, we human beings, evolved as being omnivores. We evolved to eat everything we can find in our immediate environment.
I will link you to the show called Alone. It's about survival in nature. People who watch my videos will like it. Thanks to Coral for recommending it. It's more or less the opposite of what veganism is about, because it's a comfort diet. People there, when they catch fish, they're so thankful for it. Or when girls see deer, all they can think about is eating it. Veganism will always be dependent on the government. It only works in the system. They couldn't possibly support local foods because they couldn't survive eating local plant foods, because most of the time there are none. They will always eat unnatural, shipped in foods that destroy the environment. That's what veganism is about. It's about destroying everything.